Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me for yet another episode. So today's episode, we're going to dive into self-forgiveness. Now, this subject can be utilized in two different forms. You could be forgiving yourself for causing someone the hurt, or you may be on the receiving end of the hurt and just need to forgive yourself for allowing such behavior. But either way, take notes because this is going to be a topic where we can use this with family members, relationships, or even friendships. When it comes to forgiving ourselves, it's a wide range of topics or behavior that we would like to forgive ourselves for. So when it comes to forgiveness, forgiveness can be hard. When someone does something that hurts you, it can be difficult to let it go and move on. Although forgiving others can be a daunting task, at times it is often much easier for you to forgive others than it is to forgive yourself. No matter what the case could have been that is making it difficult to forgive yourself. Practicing self-forgiveness provides an opportunity for important growth, meaningful change, and improved emotional well-being. So why should you forgive yourself? Fixating on difficult emotions such as guilt, anger, and shame can have a negative consequence on your mental and physical health. Ruminating on these feelings keeps your nervous system on high alert. The adrenaline relates to these emotions can lead to heart problems, autoimmune disease, or even mental health issues, such as anxiety and depression. So beating yourself up over and over again strengthens the guilt and the shame and reinforces the occupying self-belief of being a bad person. So as I always say, anxiety is living far in the future, depression is staying too far in the past, which is why the forgiveness part of your healing is so important. And that shame, remember, shame is not your friend. You can't shame yourself. What happened has happened. Accept it. Figure out strategies to move on past it and move on. And that's what I'm trying to teach today. Or speak about today. I'm sorry. We're going to speak about this today. Self-forgiveness enables you to separate who you are from the mistakes you made. Forgiveness is a process that takes time. So like I always say, slow down. Slow down. Give yourself that grace because it does take time. I know it's difficult, but it does take time. So you have to define your forgiveness. Having a clear definition of forgiveness and what it means to you is an important first step. Your definition can stem from your religious beliefs, family, or personal ideas. When you define what forgiveness is, make sure you are clear on what it's not. Understand the forgiveness as forgetting or moving on as if nothing happened will keep you stuck in shame and denial. So perhaps forgiveness can be defined as a decision to acknowledge that you are flawed and made poor choices that have caused harm. But instead of continuing to punish yourself and wallow in shame, you are choosing to treat yourself with compassion and understanding so you can learn from this experience, accept responsibility for your actions, and grow in ways that will encourage and affect change. So like I said, this can go either way. Because how many of us can't forgive ourselves for allowing someone to treat us, to use us, abuse us, misuse us overlooking certain characteristics or behavior of someone else. Or you was the one who caused it. You took advantage of someone who was vulnerable, someone who dearly loved you, someone who trusted you. You betrayed them in such a form that you hurt them and broke them. So like I said, these can go both ways. You have to acknowledge your feelings in the situation as well. In order to forgive yourself, you need to acknowledge your feelings, not deny them. Set aside time to focus on your feelings without judgment. Name your emotions and grow yourself to experience what you feel. You can feel anything you need to feel, and these feelings don't have to define you, your responses. This might be difficult, but you will not be able to let go of your feelings of guilt and shame until you acknowledge them, feel them, and allow yourself to go through them. And how many times have we went through something and tried to bury it? Just try to ignore it or different things like that. We can't ignore what we've been through. We can't ignore what we're feeling. We have to feel what we feel, acknowledge it, let it out. Like, I'm vocal so much about therapy. See a therapist, get a life coach, journal. Just whatever you need to do, just get those feelings out. Identify them, understand them, so you can grow from them. It's called growth in your mindset. Acknowledging it. Acknowledge your pain. It's okay to be angry. Acknowledge what you did. Or your role in your role that you played, I should say. I'm sorry. You can't really learn from your mistakes unless you are able to acknowledge them. Acknowledging what happened and taking responsibility for your part in it allows you to gain insight into why it happened. Sometimes we have to understand why certain things transpire, whether you was the one that caused the hurt or whether you was the one who allowed the hurt to happen to you. We all play a big role in our own behavior. We all, you can't point the fingers and say, they was the reason that I did XYZ, or they was the reason why I allowed XYZ. No. Look in the mirror and look at yourself. Why was I the reason? What role did I play that caused this person to think it was okay to treat me this way? Or what role did I play in hurting this person so bad that they don't even recognize who they are? So it's just acknowledging what we did. Then apologize. If your actions cause someone harm, you have to apologize for it. Or if you allow somebody to treat you badly, you have to learn to apologize to yourself. How many times have we apologized to ourselves for allowing something? I am sorry, that you felt not worthy enough to walk away. Sometimes it's like talking to yourself in that calm tone, like I talked about before. You have to acknowledge that. Focus on what you learned. It is important and easier to learn lessons when things go wrong. When they go right, if you can focus on the learning experience and what you will do differently. I'm sorry, I had to take a breather. Going forward, you might find self-forgiveness more appropriate. So learn from your experience. Learn the importance of the lesson that it taught you for whatever you went through, that you have to forgive yourself for. Because that is big and that is important. Instead of burying it, like I said before, or ignoring it, especially when we feel like something was not our fault. We just sit and wallow in it, but we have to understand that it still eats us up because we still have those unanswered questions in our head, those whys, those what if, those how comes, different things of that nature. We can have that anxiety because we're thinking about it, or thinking about what if I would have stayed, or what if, then you anxiety because you too far in the future, or you depressed because you thinking back on different scenarios on what you could have did differently. So you have to focus on the lesson that you learned from going through what you went through, and apologize to yourself for going through what you went through. Like, making meaningful changes is another one. You change behavior after your acknowledgement of it. Because what is the good of all this if you're not going to change your behavior? If you're going to just continue to keep doing the same thing over and over? What's the beauty of learning the lesson, understanding the lesson, if you're not going to change your behavior? If you're going to keep doing it over and over and over, it's no beauty in that. And then practice compassion. Like I'm always vocal about. Just as you show compassion to others, you can show compassion to yourself. Beating yourself up about something that has already happened and can't be undone reinforces the negativity. So why should we keep beating ourselves up? Show yourself compassion and grace and move on from it. Because all you can do is acknowledge it and move on. There's nothing else you can do because it happened. You can't erase the past. The past happened. Learn from it. And then it's at that point, like when you begin the process of forgiving yourself, you understand that your hurt is your hurt and nobody else's. Nobody can tell you how to heal from what broke you or how you caused the brokenness in someone else or almost broken you. So thank y'all for listening today. I appreciate it. Until next time, thanks.